I know you all are bummed out about Luca and Turning Red being limited to Disney Plus and not getting a theatrical license. So are the filmmakers, and so am I. However, I still think you should all count your blessings and be thankful that at least they didn't get written off altogether like Batgirl and Scoop Holiday Han on HBO Max. You know that, right? But this really poses a question for Luca and Turning Red after you have watched them. Do you think they were good enough for movie theaters? And if you don't think that, what do you think there's like? Do you think there's like anything about the storylines that might make them too plain or too controversial to be a hit in movie theaters? I mean, probably not. Pixar's a big brand. I'm sure they could have made it after Soul. So, if Disney or Pixar was strapped for cash and they didn't have enough money to make new Pixar movies in a certain quarter of the year, that would probably be the best time for Disney to allow Pixar to re-release Luca and Turning Red in movie theaters, but not back to back. I mean, not at the same time. Not an overlapping theatrical run, but just like in different quarters of the year. That would be a good last resort to get more publicity for the Luca and Turning Red movies that have already been made. If Disney Plus loses too many subscribers to justify selling Luca and Turning Red only on there and on the on subsequent DVDs that they sell for Luca and Turning Red once they've released them. However, I do see a possible future where instead of re-releasing the same Luca and Turning Red movies after the hype for them has died down, I actually could see Luca and Turning Red going in the same directions as Monsters Incorporated and Finding Nemo. Let me explain. I mean, it's not just because they have like similar elements of fish and monsters, it's coincidence, but I mean like the path they could go down for a prequel or a sequel, diving further into the lore of each character, diving into the lore of the characters. If Pixar were to approach Enrico Casarosa about making another Luca film, I would like to see Enrico Casarosa make a sequel about Alberto that's a bit similar to Finding Dory in that Finding Dory was about Dory searching for her family, so an Alberto sequel to Luca could be about Alberto trying to rediscover his father, Bruno, while Luca is getting acquainted with Julia and Julia's mom and all of Julia's friends at school. I mean, I know that we've already had a short film that touched upon that a bit in the form of Child Alberto, but that was just a short film. I think Enrico Casarosa could use a full-length movie, that's a full-length Luca sequel about Alberto's family and where have they all gone since we've already seen Luca's family in the first Luca movie. I want to know more about Alberto's family and Julia's family in a possible Luca sequel. And if the Alberto sequel that I dream of seeing gets made, then a Luca sequel should definitely have a theatrical release, the theatrical run that the original Luca film never had. And the same applies to Turning Red. In case Pixar approaches Domee about making another Turning Red movie, I want to see Domee make a prequel similar to Monsters University, where, but the middle school version instead of in college. A prequel to Turning Red that's kind of like the prequel of Monsters Incorporated, Monsters University, in which without the university, in which Malin Lee gets to, in which we learn the origin stories of Malin Lee meeting Miriam Wexler, Priya Mangal, and Abby Park and Stacy Frick at a summer camp for learning music in the summer between elementary school and middle school. In theory, that concept for a Turning Red prequel set 2 years before the original Turning Red would also... There's just plenty of material and potential for that kind of setup that retains the same coming-of-age themes. It retains the same themes of, Turning Red being a coming-of-age story without focusing on Malin Lee and her mystical red panda powers. If we go back to a slightly earlier time before Malin got a red panda, I just know that would be the perfect opportunity to explore the personality of Malin's friends a lot more, because we have a bigger and better chance to know more about them and what they're like and why they all met Malin Lee where and when they did. When the focus of Turning Red's of another coming-of-age story in the Turning Red universe, in the prequel, the focus is off of Malin's red panda. And like what I previously stated about a possible Luca sequel, the Turning Red prequel should be allowed to have the theatrical run that Turning Red never had. And that's my personal solution to how Disney and Disney Plus can learn from their mistakes with the Pixar movies Luca and Turning Red, by giving Enrico Casarosa and Domee the big opportunity to make a second Luca film and a second Turning Red film that can have the theatrical run, that will get to have the theatrical run that their original Luca and Turning Red films never had. And I just think it's kind of fascinating how I just thought of that after watching Luca and Turning Red on Disney Plus once. I'm a good critical thinker and aspiring writer who can already tell what possibilities the first movie subtly set up for a Luca sequel about Alberto's family and Julia's family, and a Turning Red prequel about the origins of Miriam, Priya, Abby, and Stacy meeting Malin Lee. Now, I know Stacy Frick wasn't the main character in the original Turning Red film. She's just a silly OMG girl who shows up in several scenes. But I think including Stacy getting Stacy into the mix in the prequel would also make their friendship more layered to, explain why, not everyone who thinks they're going to, not every new group of teenage friends who thinks they're going to be best friends for life actually stay that close for that long. I just think it has more powerful. It's just more powerful that way. It has more impact and meaning if we learn that one of the girls who became friends with Malin Lee in summer camp or at the beginning of 6th grade didn't stay that close of a friend with Malin, Miriam, Priya, and Abby for long. There's plenty of more material that Domee could do if, Malin had 4 friends with her at the beginning of middle school, but there's also one other girl that we see in a handful of scenes in the original Turning Red film who drifted apart from the rest of the 4 girls. And that's all I have to say for now. That's my proposal for how the Walt Disney Company and Disney Plus can apologize to the creators of the Luca and Turning Red films by allowing them to make a possible Luca sequel or Turning Red prequel for the movie theaters the next time they're strapped for cash and need and need a second film to be made out of Pixar's first two film properties from the 2020s after Soul, of course. I haven't seen Soul yet. I'm sorry to see it. I'm sure it's a great, interesting